Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the CoffeeCast Procast Edition. Today, we will be featuring a game that I just so happen to know is on the Day 9 Daily, number 520, I believe, and I have not seen that daily yet, but seeing that it was done by Day 9, you know, it obviously had to be a pretty freaking good game, so I decided I would cast it, and then watch the daily so I could, like, see what happens, unspoil, and have that unrivaled excitement, and then learn what happens. So, on the bottom left-hand side, spawning as a red Terran player. As it turns out, I've kind of decided why I love, you know, like, which players I love the most. It's the European players. I don't even know why, but I love Empire and I love Team Liquid. And I'm a pretty big fan of Alt-Tab and ATN as well. I think Alt-Tab is European. I'm not certain. Anyways, on the lower left-hand side, here on Shakira's Plateau, man, I haven't seen this map in forever. It is going to be EmpireBratOK and his opponent going to be spawning on the top right-hand side, that 1 o'clock position on Shakira's Plateau. It is going to be ROOTod? ROOTod? Ooh, crap, is that ROOTod? Is that Todd? I don't... Crap. I think it's ROOTod. Just so you guys know, I am actually really tired right now. I just did 2 hours of casting for Amateur Attack. Laughed my butt off watching Day 9 play Justine for a little bit. That's the Amnesia expansion. And it's like 11:15 now. And I have class in the morning, but dang it, I haven't done a procast, and I want to do one. So, here we are, folks. Here we are. My voice, like, randomly cuts out. It's probably because I'm taking a drink of water because my voice is, like, halfway gone already from the casting earlier tonight. Really interested to see what these players do go for on this map. I haven't seen Shakira's Plateau in a long time. I actually kind of thought that it was out of a lot of map pools. I guess not, though. I guess not. It is a fairly balanced map. I think if I were to say anything, I would give it a little bit Terran favored, because you can take control of the middle of the map very, very easily. Now, maybe not so much in TvP, as a lot of times you'll see that happen in TvZ, where the Terran will just use tanks to take control of the middle of the map, or Zerg will use Brood Lords, because you can't really push past that Brood Lead line without, like, the perfect engagement. So, map-wise, I'd say BratOK has a little bit of an advantage, but generally you don't see that play a super big advantage in games. So, yeah, I think ROOTod will probably be doing something like a 3-gate expansion, because a lot of Terran players have been doing a little bit more hefty timing attacks lately. I mean, it was just kind of one of those things where Protest players started getting kind of greedy. Let's be honest here. You know, it kind of went down from a 3-gate robo expand to a 3-gate to a 1-gate to, you know, gateways, 17 Nexus for the win, and then suddenly Terrans are like, oh wow, look, we can punish this. So Terrans just kind of reverted back to doing these 2 racks, 3 racks pressures, and just destroying Protosses. So I would expect to see something a little bit more like a 3-gate expand out of Todd. But this map is a little bit bigger of a map, and it looks like Todd actually is just going to do the 1-gate expansion. I personally am still a fan of doing the 1-gate expand. If you play wisely, if you play smart, you can get away with it. I don't know if he's scouted his opponent's expansion yet. He actually has, so that is probably why he feels really safe doing this 1-gate expand here. So there's the lesson for the day, folks. Scout, scout, scout. Zealot and the Stalker moving across the map, perfectly the standard, just to kind of poke and prod up this ramp a little bit, see what's going on, and will probably fall back home fairly quickly, knowing that they can't really break a bunker by themselves. And BratOK just gonna add on a couple of extra barracks, perfectly normal there. I mean, you really have to have those additional 2 barracks. Otherwise, I mean, if the Protoss was doing like a 3-gate expand and wanted to apply a little bit of pressure and all you have is 1 barracks and a bunker with it, you're probably just gonna straight out die, to be quite honest. I like that this Zealot is looking down around here, looking for any sort of proxy buildings, or maybe not so much proxy as hidden, looking for some hidden buildings down there, maybe a quick factory, maybe an additional barracks or 2 down here, and that would be a big sign of, holy crap, fall back, lay down gateways, and pray to the Lord that we don't die. Robotics Bay is being warped in somewhere. Oh, is it the building in plain sight? I love how, you know, I'm checking the back here. I'm checking the building that's getting laid down. I don't even check the building in plain sight. Robotics facility not even trying to be hidden, just kind of sitting straight up there. Nexus finished. Command center finished. Everything perfectly normal. Stalker is just kind of sitting out here. A Marauder with a concussive shell could take that out. But that's not going to happen anytime soon, because I don't even think that we have a tech lab on a barracks yet. In fact, going for the tech lab on the factory, maybe Infernal Pre-Igniter Hellions? No, Siege tanks? Really? siege tanks. That is something I did not expect. Siege tanks not a very prevalent unit in this matchup. Stalker doing a little bit of a dance of death with these Marines. Marines finally able to ward that off, going to be able to push out of their own base a little bit. No third command center though, so it looks like BratOK just kind of wants a little bit of map control for the moment. TvP, on the other hand, is going to be having this observer coming out of his bay. Pardon me, the facility. I always get the robotics bay and the facility mixed up. It's all the same. I mean, come on, let's be honest here. Just sitting on 3 gateways, going to be playing a little bit reactionary for the moment. Does have his 2 gases down here. It'll be about another minute before those really kick in that we can really start seeing whatever tech he so desires to move along. BratOK's positioning, it's all right out in the middle of the map there. As I always say, you generally kind of want to be sitting back a little bit, but with these tanks, with the siege mode, he'll be able to create a little bit of a siege line up on the high ground and be able to fall back very easily into that. It'll be kind of difficult to catch BratOK out of position. I don't know if Todd's actually scouted that he's going to siege tanks. I think, once again, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this the Marine tank composition for this matchup. I don't know how I feel about that. Scan does go down to take out the observer. You can see the poor remains of that little guy there. And I don't think the observer actually got in to really see anything. We look over at ROOTod's cam. Indeed, there is nothing scouted over here. Whatever he saw was at the very beginning of the game. So this build could actually catch him a little bit off guard. But he does have Colossus coming on the field, which is going to be great for these Marines. In fact, let's just be honest. Colossus is just kind of great for everything. Double upgrades as well, which, as you all know, if any of you are amateur attack watchers, you know that I am a huge fan of double upgrades, and I have interesting things to say about them that I am not going to say on any respected procast. Marines and tanks moving out across the map, going to be coming up to the natural expansion of Todd. He's going to catch that to save this one Stalker, which is good, because with this many units on the field, you really can't afford to lose, like, any extra units. No, not good force fields at all. Completely missed one of his force fields right there, which is going to allow all the Marines to get through and a siege tank volley to get off, which you just can't really afford to take that damage. Couple of quick force fields do go down the ramp. He saw that siege tanks got on siege, and that was his chance to push up and keep those Marines out just a little bit longer. Going to need to be extremely careful with his positioning here. If he takes just a step or two too far up, the siege tanks are going to brutalize the poor sentries. Marines going to be moving up the ramp now. Vision does get up onto the high ground here. Tanks, we can see their range here. I can't believe they can actually hit that pylon. Oh man, look at how close that is. A couple of bunkers going down on the high ground as well to help give the Marines a little bit of defense. And the poor thing for Todd is that he cannot push up and try to take out these SCVs because of these siege tanks. A third tank now on the field. Colossus spawning out just in time to start roasting away at the Marines, though. Probes being pulled off of the mineral line to assault the Marines, and they just get roasted immediately by the tanks. I don't even know if that was worth it to buy time. Marines going to be going down, but the tank just doing so much damage. All the sentries except one going to be lost. The Colossus dying as well. Looks like there was a forward pylon down. Warping on the low ground. A couple of zealots going to help clean up the last of the siege tanks. Brilliant by Todd to warp his zealots on the low ground to get the flanking position on BratOK. Todd going to hold that, but did lose quite a bit there. I don't know. He lost 15 workers. Let's take a look over the income tab. We see BratOK has a vast superior income now. 1,500 to just 1,000 even. And I don't even think he has that many mules down. He has, well, okay, just now dropping a couple mules. So keep in mind that income that we just saw, that big extra advantage in the harvesters as well. That's just going to skyrocket even further up to 1,700, 1,800, probably up to 2,000 shortly with those mules. So a big advantage over in BratOK. Todd does need to do something, but I don't know if a retaliatory attack is the right option once again with these siege tanks on the high ground. He knows his opponent has these up here. I think it's just an awful decision to try to go ahead and push this. I'm really hoping the observer will kind of move up here, see those tanks, and just decide to not do anything. A little bit of damage going to be done from the low ground here. Stalker's firing away at the supply depot on the high ground. Viking just kind of moving around, might be trying to pick off the observer. Did get a supply depot for free. I mean, whatever you can do, I suppose, really helps out. Second supply depot probably going to be going down as well if that observer just kind of, I don't know, moves south at all. A lot of little things coming on the field for BratOK, getting that concussor shells upgrade, getting the combat shields upgrade, just kind of getting himself ready for a solid mid-game at this point in time. That extra supply depot does go down. Not the biggest deal in the world for BratOK, but again, if you're in Todd's shoes, you just took a lot of damage. You need to do whatever you can to get back into that game a little bit. A little bit here, a little bit there will really add up in the end. So technically, that's just 200 minerals absolutely for free. and that does even up our units lost tab just a little bit. Colossus are coming out on the field. Extended thermal lands now finished as well. That is going to be the real kicker when the big engagement comes again. Vikings are going to be coming onto the field as well, though. I'd assume. Are there Vikings? No medevacs for the moment. I think that's kind of interesting. He has scouted those Colossus. I think a couple more Vikings wouldn't be amiss. Maybe that'll be his next production round. I can totally understand if you wanted to get a couple of medevacs out to support Stim Bio. But even with a couple of medevacs up in the air, he still cannot afford to assault those Colossus. And there we go, a couple more Vikings coming onto the field. Over on Todd's side of things, a Dark Shrine in production, just about to finish up, going to allow for both, well, pretty much anything, I guess. A little bit of Dark Templar harass. Archons, always an option, always a great option, actually, versus Terran. Terran especially, I don't know why. I always feel like, well, you know what? I take that back. They're just good versus everything. Archons just rock, okay? Archons are like Colossus. I mean, you can just use them in any matchup, and they're pretty much going to rip everything apart. Pylon is going into position on the south side of the map here. It's going to help spot drops and as well as blink play if Todd does decide to do any sort of blink play here. I love that he's getting charged on the field, charged out Archon with a couple of Colossus in the back of the army. Metagame BratOK into using those Vikings, getting a lot into Vikings. Only having 2 Colossus on the field, though, those Archons are going to become exponentially better with the number of Vikings that come on the field. Looks like there is going to be a drop in the main base. 3 full medevacs dropping down. This next is probably going to go down, let's be honest here, with only 2 Colossus. Oh no, these Colossus. No, Colossus, don't do it! That's a death sentence. And there goes the rest of the army. There we go, coming up the ramp there. I think BratOK may have missed an opportunity to snipe a Colossus, but he did get the Nexus with almost nothing dying. Where are his medevacs? Yeah, I think only a single Marine died. So I guess in the end, that was actually a great attack by BratOK, being able to take down that Nexus. 1 Dark Templar is going to stop the small Bioforce from really getting any scouting off. And now Todd, actually Todd moving out into the middle of the map with these 3 medevacs still just sitting up north of his base. Looks like the small Bioforce is going to be caught off guard by Todd's army, though. These 2 Colossus are going to be able to roast away at the Bioforces. A couple of tanks in a decent positioning there, but that's really just not going to be enough to be able to hold off against an army of this size, especially with Dark Templar and Charge Lots coming up. I guess they're not Charge Lots yet. They're getting there. They're close. Give them some time. 3rd base being established for Todd there. I like that he's taking that base. Medevac's coming back into the main base now. No Nexus was remacroed in the main base, interestingly enough. Generally, you'll see players do that, especially with this many mineral patches taken. Or pardon me, this many mineral patches left. Warping in a single Dark Templar to help delay this drop. Ooh, yep, just a scan. That's not going to delay it all that much. Going for the pylons, I'd actually love to see the cybernetic score focus down, even though that does have the most health. Ooh, wow, a lot of buildings on power now. Even though it does have a lot of health, that is a very important building for the Protoss. Dark Shrine goes down. Maybe we'll see a High Templar archive instead, just a normal Templar archive. Gets Storm out onto the field. And now really BratOK just kind of killing whatever he can left. I think he kind of realized that a lot of these forces are forfeit. Might try to pick up and fly into the corner of the map. Yes, he does. And once again, actually saves almost all of those, losing just an additional 5 Marines for a Dark Shrine, a number of pylons, and unpowering his opponent for quite a bit of time. This is 3 gateways in a row so far for about, what, 60 seconds or so that are not producing anything. That is a big deal. Todd moving out into the middle of the map once again. It still has nothing to answer with these drops with. Is building a cannon, but I don't think, oh gosh, that cannon, I don't even know where the cannon is. Just putting that down in the natural expansion. Big gun engagement in the middle of the map once again. No Archons in this army, which means the Colossus going to be extremely vulnerable to to the Viking fire up in the air. If once those Colossus go down, there's going to be no AoE left on the field, and that's going to be really bad for Todd. He just needs something AoE to help deal with this. And I guess, oh, actually the Colossus is staying alive long enough to do the damage they needed to. Now Todd's going to be able to push into the 3rd base with a lot of charge lots and a single Archon left on the field, which means that he can take out these SCVs without a problem. But no, the SCV is going to be gaining away. I'm actually surprised that that battle turned over into Todd's favor, but the medevac drop is coming back in, pardon me, to the main base. And so now we have a base race situation going on for these players, which really neither player is in a great position to win. Oh, there are a few units back home to defend with for Todd, but that Stim Bio is just going to be able to rip apart the Zealots, and pretty much the probes forfeit their lives right there. Todd moving up into the natural expansion now. Only a small handful of bio units and a couple of medevacs left. Oh, great force was going to be able to trap those bio units from being able to retreat any further over in the main base of TOD. The probes have died, and as well as the Zealots, and now BratOK is going to have free reign over what's left in this base. That one last Immortal being rallied out across the map. Ultimate base trade situation. All BratOK needs to do is lift off some buildings and fly them into various points of the map, and he'll be good to go. I'm surprised more aren't lifting off right now. There goes one. Maybe a little bit too little too late, though, as there are a couple of air attacking units, but not enough, probably. The bio over in the natural expansion going to be able to take out this Nexus without much of a problem. Oh, needs to make sure not to take a shot from those cannons. That is unnecessary damage right there. All the production facilities for BratOK getting just destroyed by TOD. And I guess that really kind of goes both ways, I suppose. Players are now down to 57 and 38 supply in slight favor of our Protest player. The income tab, only TOD has any income left, but I don't know if it really matters. I don't even know if he has powered warp gates at this point in time. No, he doesn't. Trying to warp in some photon cannons to help defend with probes and immortals. Oh, getting off free shots, actually. A big mistake by BratOK. Going to be losing quite a few of those units for free. Now having to pick up into those medevacs and fly off. TOD definitely getting an advantage, in this game. Especially considering that he does have this one mining base here, throwing down the Stargate to probably get some Phoenixes or Void Rays out to be able to start dealing with those medevacs a little bit more effectively. BratOK did establish a base in a little bit of a secure position down on the south side here. It's going to be difficult for TOD to engage without pulling off a decent chunk of his army. Looks like only a single. Oh nope, there's the rest of the army. A couple of a couple of Immortals and a couple of Stalkers going to be coming up here. If they can pick off these medevacs, that's going to be a big deal. Target firing actually the one with the most health. Unfortunately, one more medevac is going to go down, which leaves just one single medevac remaining, with 4 Marines left in it. Now, there is a small handful of production facilities left on the field for BratOK, which means he's going to be able to macro a Marine army. And guess what ROOTod does not have now? AoE. Crap. So, without AoE, these Marines are actually going to become fairly effective. What TOD's going to need is force fielding power and zealot power to be able to suck up a lot of that quick rapid fire of the Marines. They're going to just melt away that single Marine. He really only has, what, 4 force fields there, and I don't think that's going to be enough to be able to really hold this off. That Archon is going to need to get to the front. That's going to be the saving grace for TOD, is that one single Archon that's going to be able to change the tides of this battle so well. Now these gateways once again get unpowered in the main base, which means no more reinforcements for TOD. He can't afford to pull back into the main base. He can't afford to push forward and start taking out this army. It's kind of a lose-lose situation. And somehow he does have a vision of this high ground. There is one pylon left, which is granting him vision of the high ground. Almost loses a Marine on the high ground. And right now, every single unit matters so much. Oh, TOD needs to be careful with his positioning here. He's dancing a dance of death. One Void Ray is out on the field, another one coming on the way. Void Rays, maybe not the best option, as there are, well, there is a Marine on the map. I mean, all you need is one to counter a Void Ray, I swear. Marines might be looking to be aggressive here, pushing into the natural expansion. 1, 2, 4 shields go down. Needs one more to really seal the deal on that one, but no, cannot engage that. Archon does get to the front, but with no shield upgrades, it just gets melted so quickly. Void Ray going to be able to pick off the drop that was in the main base. But this one last mining base for TOD is just going to get destroyed, I think. I don't really know if there's anything down here or anything left for TOD to really be able to defend this. I mean, he has a couple of Void Rays, but again, Void Rays versus Marines, not the greatest option. Immortals and Stalkers just barely holding on for the moment. It's very hard to take those down with the armor upgrades. Those Immortals actually have 3 armor. More Stim Marines coming in, joining the fray. They're trying to desperately keep these gateways unpowered. A couple of charge lots do get up on top of those Marines, but it wasn't quite enough. More charge lots warping in. Is 2 going to be the power he needs? One last Void Ray spawns out onto the field. Is it going to be enough to push that back? It looks like it might be, if just by the bare hairs, but no, more Marines being remacroed and coming out across the map, going to be able to finish off what is left of the Protoss army. And there's the GG from TOD, fighting down to pretty much the last remaining unit. Oh my goodness. An extremely close game, a base race, and both players able to remacro. Small armies here, small armies there, but in the end, I think that well, I guess those 2 dropships are really what did it in for TOD, that he could just never take those out. Again, maybe like a Phoenix or something would have been good. The mobility to be able to take out those dropships and not allow them just kind of keep picking up and running into the corner. My voice is like absolutely gone, so I'm just going to end this quickly tonight. Like me on Facebook. I have the Hespeland coming up fairly shortly, and you'll be seeing plenty of spam on my Facebook account about that. All the information that you will need is going to be down in the description. There'll be Facebook, other ways to contact me. Leave a comment and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And until next time, folks, this is Coffee Break, signing out.